Your life with me, Reverend Lee and Reverend Toby. So today we're going to talk about the question, do you think petty thoughts? Yeah, petty thoughts. Thoughts that we have to stay in reality. I like to think of petty talks as the type of conversation I have with Toby. It's about nothing. It's just jibber jabber. A person who's beyond petty thoughts is always thinking of new and more expansive ideas. Because when you're thinking about new and expansive ideas, you're creating mental images of growth, of what you can become. But if you're dealing with the situation as is all the time without ever thinking about a new way of looking at it, you're stuck. You're going to be living in a gigaloop cycle where you're going to be constantly be a victim. And so I like to use imagination. And that's a real critical thing. I talked about that yesterday in my Sunday service. Without imagination, the creative process has no place to go. No place to go. It just keeps recreating over and over again. So ask yourself this question. In your life, is it a constant repeat of what's been going on for months, weeks, years upon years upon years? Well, you can change that. You can change that by not having these petty thoughts. I got to deal with these facts. I got to deal with these facts. Wait a second. Start creating a new image. Now, I'm not saying to not be in the world. I'm not saying the things that happen you've got to deal with. But I'm saying we've got to find a way to balance dealing with what's in front of us and creating a new image of what we desire to have in front of us so that we can become that person and that. So Saturday, a whole group of people all around the world did Walk for the World, a meditation put out by Dr. Joe, and we were a part of it. The beauty of that meditation was, for me, was the idea, the realization that the world doesn't change. The only thing that changes is my perception of it. Now think about that. If you change your perception of the world, and a lot of other people change their perception of the world, you'll be living in a more expansive world. You'll be living with people who support you, and you support them as they continue to expand their vision. There's so much on this planet that we have the ability to experience, and we're locked into our current experience, and we do nothing to change the mental image we're putting out there so that we can have a greater life. It's not that there's a good life or a bad life. The whole thing is, how much life can you experience? Petty thoughts are not thinking growth. They're not thinking expansion. Petty thoughts think limitation. I'm a victim. I'm locked in. And we've been taught over and over and over again to be petty. Do you ever notice that in relationships? Most relationships are caught up in the pettiness of life, as opposed to sitting down with your partner and telling your partner, what are your dreams? How can I support you as you grow and become a greater expression of love? That's a meaningful relationship. And while you're in that relationship, you're sharing the journey. You share the journey. You share, like Gene and I, we share the responsibilities of owning a home. We shared the responsibilities of raising our children. But at the same time, we're talking about an expansive life, a greater life. And that's why we're together, because we do support each other in that. Here's a key thing. We give each other the freedom to live our life the way we want. And while being free, we challenge our partner to a greater freedom from their past thoughts, because your past thoughts are what's controlling you. Hate to say that, but that's exactly what's happening. Your perception is everything about your life. Until you have an expanded perception, you're going to keep the same life you've got going on now. I don't know how you feel about that. Toby would love to hear your comments. Did any of you walk on Saturday for the Walk for the World? If you did, what was your experience? I'd love to hear that. I know I had an incredible experience. The people I've talked to have had incredible experiences because we were visualizing a world greater than what we've got. And isn't that what it's all about? So, my message is short and sweet. Peter, I'm glad to see you did. I know your experience had to be good. Peter in South Africa joined us. I love that. I have nothing more to share. If I share any more, I think I'm going to get petty. So you create the best ever. And Maggie, good, you walk solo. No big deal. I love that. You walked, you envisioned, you saw a greater world. How cool is that? Everybody, today's your day. How are you going to create it? Going to live by your past petty thoughts? Or are you going to create an expanded vision? I want you to know, I'm here to support you. Toby's here to support you. Whatever you decide, make it a great day. Know that you are loved. Aloha.